Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Ultra League showcasing another very powerful team featuring Shadow Charizard. Now these battles are a viewer submission courtesy of Hugo Plays, member of my Discord. Big thanks to you, Hugo, for the submission, of course. And this is a very powerful team leading with shiny Galarian Stunfisk on the lead, Giratina on the safe swap, and of course Shadow Charizard in the back. Very solid team, very powerful, relatively balanced. It does have a few core breakers in the meta, most notably Obstagoon / Scrafty, and also I would say Swampert. But outside of that, the team very strong. The damage output of Shadow Charizard cannot be denied, and you pair that with two absolute tanks in the meta, that allows you to preserve those shields for Shadow Charizard to do what it does best, and that is just lay waste to the opponent's team. So very solid team. I'm super excited to see it in action, and without further ado, let's dive right in here. Big thanks once again to Hugo Plays for the battle submission. Very much appreciated. And here we go. The core breaker, Obstagoon on the lead. Hugo's going to make a play into Giratina. Not running Dragon Breath, which makes this matchup a lot worse for Giratina. Giratina can actually flip this with Dragon Breath. But it is what it is. It's just it's a rough spot to be in terms of choosing the right moveset for Giratina in the meta right now. But making do here. The Obstagoon happy to stay in, of course. But they tried to catch onto a Jellicent, and Hugo exercises excellent patience here, holding on to the energy. Has loaded energy way ahead on this Jellicent. But what I was going to say is ideally they want to save that Obstagoon for the Stunfisk, of course. Giratina firing off another Shadow Sneak. And my goodness, Giratina going to work here. Oh, they are at a Shadow Ball, but Hugo's going to call this as a bait. And oh, it was the bait. They baited. Holy smokes. You definitely don't want to be baiting from that health range on Jellicent. You're only making it to one move, and now they are forced to just go back-to-back Surf, and that is just not going to cut it. Holy smokes. Oh, man. Giratina putting in the work. Hugo making the right call there. Going for a Dragon Claw on the Obstagoon that does come back in. And has another one locked and loaded. Giratina so spammy, so tanky. My goodness. And Obstagoon's going to have to throw a move. Oh, it's not going to farm down in time. Giratina getting to one last Dragon Claw. Grabbing a shield. Getting even more chip damage in. Holy smokes. Hugo getting tremendous value out of this Giratina. That was amazing. And now Hugo's primed to bring in the Charizard, and they've got a Kanto Muck in its shadow form. Gotta fire off this Blast Burn. The question is, do they want to shield this? And oh, they let that go. Holy smokes. And makes the catch. Oh my goodness. Hugo playing out of his mind here, catching the double resisted Thunder Punch on the G-Fisk. That was wild. And they do top left. Oh my gosh, excellent gameplay from Hugo Plays. Good game, well played. My goodness, Hugo did him dirty in that last one, but yeah, that was amazing. Here we go. Giratina lead. The question is, what are they running for their fast move? They are running Shadow Claw. And Galarian Stunfisk can actually do quite well here, even if they are running Shadow Claw. Of course, if they're running Dragon Breath, it's way better for G-Fisk, but G-Fisk only needs 2 EQs plus a few mud shots, and they throw Dragon Claw, so they must not be running Shadow Sneak. Even better for G-Fisk as they make a play into a Cresselia, and Hugo's going to meet baited and got a shield from Cresselia. That was insane. The opponent did not need to shield there whatsoever. But they do, and here we are. Giratina on the Cresselia. Ideally, generally, you want to bring Charizard in onto something like a Cresselia, but Hugo may be making a team read here, as Charizard does hardwall the conventional moveset of Cresselia, although a lot of Cresselias these days have Caught Wise and are now running Future Sight. So that may be the read that Hugo is making, and as we can see, Giratina comfortably tanks 2 of these Moon Blasts here from the Cresselia, and going to fire off one last Shadow Sneak here. Getting tremendous value yet again out of the Giratina, and now going to come in with the G-Fisk, and they come back in with the Giratina that doesn't seem to be running Shadow Sneak. That makes me wonder what they may have in the back. This team might be insanely weak to a Steel type here. And they go Dragon Claw again. So this is very interesting. Interesting plays out of the opponent. Something in the back clearly doesn't want to see a Steel type here. And they are just trying their best with these resisted Dragon Claws here. It's just not enough. You definitely need Shadow Sneak if you're going to have a team that's weak to Steel in the back. And they are going to fire off yet another move. But this EQ will just about KO the Giratina. Not quite, as Giratina is about as tanky as it gets. Like I said, G-Fist needs 2+ mud shots to KO. Yeah, it just barely doesn't KO. And they aggro swap back into Cresselia to get rid of this G-Fist. That is 100% an indicator that something in the back does not want to see a Steel type, but Charizard up a shield lays waste to this entire meta. And oh my goodness, they had a Togekiss in the back. Holy smokes. If they want to put up a fight and go down with the ship, they will shield. They do. And yeah, this Togekiss is toast. Pun intended, my friends. Hugo throwing with excellent timing, and yeah, this is nighty night. We say bye-bye to the Togekiss, and we are farming down the Giratina. Charizard doing what it does best, and that is close the game strong. Good game, well played. Goodness, that entire team in that last battle was weak to a Steel lead. You love to see it, and here we go. Dragonite lead. This is not nearly as comfortable as it once was. Before Dragonite got superpowered, but they tried to catch a Rock Slide onto a Cresselia, but that did not work out for them. Instead, they're going to catch an EQ for their troubles here, and Hugo's just going to reload on energy and tried to make a catch of his own, return the favor, but the opponent was holding on to that energy. And now I do presume, yeah, this is the Moonblast, but as we all know, Giratina, about as tanky as it gets, can comfortably tank 2 of these, all the while has access to these super effective Shadow Sneaks. As terrible as a move as it is, that is still helpful when you have a Pokemon like Cresselia in the meta. And now Hugo's just going to let all this go, playing the strategy to perfection, and does make it to yet another Shadow Sneak. The question is, do they want to shield this? I don't think they should, because that would give the Dragonite more farm to get ahead on energy, and that is exactly how it plays out. So now Hugo can still outpace here and does comfortably tank a fully powered Shadow Superpower, which is saying a lot. But was very close as he did reload before exiting into Giratina. I'm going to fire off the Rock Slide here. Shadow Dragonite does tank that no problem. And now Hugo is going to call this, and they baited. Oh, that's not going to cut it. And this is just another Dragon Claw. That's not going to work out for them. But Hugo does have to throw another move, as there is no chance that he can farm down. So yeah, does throw the move here. And now it's going to be interesting to see what they have in the back. We say bye-bye to the Dragonite. And oh, they had an Ampharos. ABA weak to a Steel type like Stunfisk. You'd love to see it. And Hugo's going to make a catch here, catching presumably a Brutal Swing here. A bit of a questionable play. I think the ideal way to do that is to at least get shields down and preserve 1 for Charizard, because this Ampharos, as we can see, just comfortably farms this thing into oblivion and now has a tremendous energy advantage here, but down a shield. So G-Fist is going to have to shield everything here from here on out, and is going to have to successfully bait and get to an EQ here. Going to have to shield this Brutal Swing here that would KO. This is a Shadow Ampharos at the end of the day. But Hugo is absolutely loaded and is going to play to his win condition, which is successfully bait. Oh, the opponent shields. It's lights out. G-Fist does outpace to this EQ. Hugo playing to perfection here. We get to this, and we're saying bye-bye to the Ampharos. My goodness, good game, well played. Again, big thanks to Hugo Plays for the battle submission. These are very good battles here, and here we go. The Nightmare leads Swampert, a core breaker for this team, and it gets even worse as they have an Alolan Muck in the back. So this is looking a little rough here, although Giratina is double resisting this fast move pressure, but Alolan Muck does resist Giratina's fast move pressure. So it's relatively close, but still not good at all, really, for Giratina. Oh, gonna fire off the Shadow Sneak. That's definitely not the right move in this situation here. You definitely want to be throwing the neutral Shadow Claws up against an Alolan Muck. So a slight misplay there, but no big deal. Gonna fire off the Dragon Claw here and get some nice chip damage in on the Alolan Muk. And they're gonna have to throw a move. They cannot farm down. Giratina makes it to another Dragon Claw here. Gonna be interesting to see if they shield. They do not shield. And Giratina flip switch on the Muk. Holy smokes, you absolutely love to see it. And we'll make it to another Dragon Claw, but Swampert plays to the CMP, not wanting to take any damage. But Hugo, not out of the woods just yet, guys. The 2 Pokemon remaining are absolutely core broken by this Swampert here. So going to bring in Charizard, as Charizard does win CMP tie and can match the pace of Swampert to these Dragon Claws that hit for neutral damage. So really not too bad. In fact, in the Great League, Shadow Charizard actually beats Swampert in the Great League on even shields. That's how insane Shadow Charizard is. And Swampert, of course, does make it to another Hydro Cannon here. And Hugo will expend the shields on Charizard. That is the strat, I believe, with this team. At least that is how I would play it. You 2-shield Charizard and hope for the best. But it is not looking so hot here. Hugo going to make it a very clutch catch here, catching the Hydro Cannon onto Stunfisk. So preserving health on Charizard, that is the key. The longer you can keep Charizard on the field, the better off. But my goodness, they've got an Obstagoon in the back. This is not going to happen. Unfortunate team comp here. The 2 worst Pokemon to see with this team on the same team on the opponent's side. Yeah, that's not a recipe for success, unfortunately. Yeah, this one's good. This one's rough. Shadow Charizard has no shields, definitely needs shields to perform at its best. This Night Slash does not KO, but one or 2 counters will do the trick here. And yeah, good game, well played. The RPS phenomenon struck yet again, and that last one, not a whole lot Hugo could have done. But here we go, picking up the Dream League Galvantula, and they make a play into an Umbreon on the safe swap. So Hugo's going to stay right here. Does have another equally as good answer in the form of Giratina in the back to a Galvantula here. So going to stay in here a little bit and slowly but surely whittle away at this Umbreon here. This Umbreon is not best buddied. And going to fire off the EQ here. Grabbing a shield from Umbreon, that is insane. These opponents shielding their tanks, quite questionable thus far in these battles. Umbreon does not need to shield anything from G-Fisk from that health range. And now Hugo's going to pivot into Charizard, likely seeing it as a little bit of dead weight with the Galvantula lurking in the back still. So we're going to tank these foul plays here and look to just load up here. Charizard can definitely tank another foul play. It's not fun, does get Charizard quite low, but still tanks it nonetheless, and he does tank it, not shielding Charizard whatsoever. And going to fire off this Blast Burn here and doing big damage to the Umbreon, and they aggressively swap into the Galvantula, so Hugo's energy management is going to be quite fruitful. Getting off this nice Dragon Claw, doing some nice chip damage on the Galvantula, and pivots back into the loaded G-Fisk here. Going to be interesting to see what the opponent wants to do. They go down on shields to preserve this Galvantula. Little did they know, had a Giratina lurking in the back. 2 of the best answers to a Galvantula in the Ultra League meta being G-Fisk and Giratina. You love to see it. So now Hugo's just going to overload a little bit and go for a Dragon Claw here on this Galvantula with no shields. And can just comfortably farm down from here. You let all this go and you just farm down and load up on energy. They are going to debuff again, but that is okay. Hugo can just easily swap out of this and clear those debuffs. And they do come in with the low health Umbreon, so very interesting. Makes me wonder what they have in the back. And of course, these Dragon Claws have been severely debuffed. They do laughable damage to this Umbreon. Hugo's making a team read here. The fact that they came in with a low health Umbreon, going to shield the Giratina and preserve some health. And oh, that's why they had a Swampert in the back. So going to just chip this here. This does laughable damage, of course, because of the debuffs, but now can clear those debuffs. Still very healthy. And going to actually shield this Hydro Cannon here. That would KO. Hugo can make it to, or has the Earthquake loaded. And this chip damage will be quite nice, as Swampert can get absolutely out of hand if you let it. The EQ does big damage, and they cannot overfarm by too much more here. Even a resisted Rock Slide would be quite catastrophic for the Swampert. They do KO the G-Fisk, and Giratina still has loaded energy. So fantastic energy management by Hugo plays here. Going to go for this Dragon Claw, taking out the Swampert, and had another one locked and loaded for this low health Umbreon here. And we're saying bye-bye to the Umbreon. My goodness. Good game, well played. Brilliant gameplay thus far from Hugo Plays, and here we go. Picking up a Trevenant. Not the best lead for Stunfisk. Going to throw one and make a play into Giratina, and they meet this with a Shadow Skuntank. So very interesting to see in the back. I know King really likes Shadow Skuntank on a Trevenant lead along with a Drapion, so it'll be interesting to see if that is the same team here. Gonna let this Crunch go. It does not KO, but does massive, super effective damage to the Giratina, and Giratina has nearly 2 Dragon Claws here loaded. Is double resisting this fast move pressure, so that makes this quite nice. They cannot farm down. They're gonna either have to give up a shield if they want to try for this insane farm down, and they do, or throw a move. Yeah, they're gonna just go for the farm down. They are absolutely loaded. You definitely bring in the G-Fisk, but Hugo's going to come in and look to get ahead with Charizard. Going to have to go down a shield. A Crunch would do massive damage. Would have had to maybe shield either way, but this is not the King IV team. This is a variation with a Dragonite in the back. But Hugo does have the energy lead. Going to fire off this Dragon Claw, grabbing the final shield, and they throw with brilliant timing on Hugo here, forcing a shield, and gonna look to overfarm by 1, and they still catch the move. Holy smokes, that's an insane play by the opponent. My goodness. And now just gonna meet this Trevenant with the G-Fisk here, so Hugo's gonna have to play this very carefully. Gonna have to leave this with a Rock Slide, perhaps for that Dragonite. So gonna fire off the Rock Slide here. It's for neutral damage. Earthquake does do more raw damage from that health range, though. Would have still needed 2 moves, so the back-to-back Rock Slides is the play. And this is just a Seed Bomb. They misplayed this. They could have easily made it to a Shadow Ball, but they were likely reading that Hugo would have thrown before, so they were kind of backed into a corner. My goodness, we're saying bye-bye to the Trevenant, and we've got another one locked and loaded for the Shadow Dragonite. My goodness. We get to this Rock Slide, and we're saying bye-bye to the Dragonite as well. My goodness, good game, well played. And these battles have been so much fun. Hugo has been playing beautifully. And here we go, Charizard lead. It's not a Shadow, so this actually isn't too bad for G-Fisk. G-Fisk can stay in here and easily outpace the Charizard. It comfortably tanks a Blast Burn and still outpace. They still cannot farm down with resisted wing attacks. Grabbing an early shield from the Charizard can definitely let this go, as they generally bait, but going to shield out of caution, and it was the bait. That is unfortunate. And they come in with a Dragon Breath Giratina, so pretty weak to a G-Fisk lead thus far. And now just fine to stay in here, as this is running Dragon Breath. This is quite comfortable for G-Fisk. Giratina does tank the first EQ, no problem. I don't anticipate they shield this shiny Giratina here. Oh, and they have 0 steel coverage on this Giratina. My goodness. Yeah, they're pretty core broken by a G-Fisk lead. Works excellent for Hugo here. Going to fire off EQ number 2. And they are going to look to fire off another resisted move here. Just the Dragon Claw, and now gonna come in with Charizard, aggressively farm down, keeping amazing track of the opponent's energy. They do not get to a move, and they come back in with their own Charizard. So now, gonna fire off this Shadow Blast Burn here, and grabs a shield from the opposing Charizard. That would have done a boatload of resisted damage. And now Hugo's just gonna save the shield and likely sack the Charizard here. So very interesting. Maybe seeing Charizard as dead weight here, just letting it all go. And now going to save the shield for G-Fisk. And oh, they've got a Cress in the back. This entire team pretty weak to a G-Fisk lead. You absolutely love to see it. But Cresselia is one Pokemon that does not need shields whatsoever in the Ultra League. And all gonna catch. They overfarmed, and Hugo still makes the catch, making an excellent read on this Cresselia, overfarming by 2 and catching the resisted Grass Knot. Brilliant play by Hugo here, and now Hugo is in the driver's seat here. This is looking pretty darn good, I must say. Giratina tanks the Moonblast no problem and now can overload and get to back-to-back Shadow Sneaks here for this Cresselia, or just about. One Shadow Claw off here. Throwing the first one and makes it to the second one. This is Nighty-Night Sleep Tight for this Cresselia here. We get to this and we're saying bye-bye to the Cresselia. And now it is smooth sailing. G-Fisk has a shield. This Charizard can do nothing. Gonna fire off this Dragon Claw, and switch timer is just about up. Hugo is very close to a Rock Slide. Yep, gonna combo play just as anticipated. Playing this to perfection. We all know we are saying bye-bye to this Charizard, and my goodness, Hugo making the plays in this video, playing to perfection. That is the team, my friends. Again, Hugo Plays, member of my Discord, was kind enough to submit these battles for us to enjoy. Big thanks to you, brother, and hats off to you for the brilliant gameplay. This is a pretty solid team, like I said. No team is without its weaknesses, but as we saw, definitely not impossible to overcome. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.